Okay, guys, it is about 20 something hours later, and I lit my fire yesterday, I don't know, somewhere around noon, and I just got through picking up all the fiberglass, aluminum, copper. I had a couple of pieces of aluminum metal that was on the house that it got in here because it had wood in it. And I took my, where's it at? I took my magnet and ran over this a whole bunch of times, and it picked up everything very well, even stuff that you don't know is there, all this little metal stuff. And this is what I picked up. Now, that's great. I got 99% of the nails picked up, but one problem I didn't realize is the guy that built that, on top of that fiberglass, he used aluminum nails. Aluminum nails. I didn't even think of that. That didn't even come into my mind, is aluminum nails. So I had raked everything up. Like I said, there was fiberglass, aluminum, copper, all kinds of stuff. Put everything in here, and this is what was left on the bottom. That's mostly nails. And then after I did that, I took my magnet and my little rope there, and I went across this thing this away about every 6 inches, and then went across it this away about every 6 inches. And I'm too far away from the back door of the house, but next time it rains, I will come out here and walk around and look really good and see if I see any more nails. And I'm sure I will. I'm sure there's some underneath there that I missed somewhere. But when I was dumping that stuff into those 2 trash cans, I could actually hear the nails dropping in there. There's a lot. I picked up, like I said, probably 99% of them. You've seen what little come off of my magnet up there. But I raked it real good, and like I said, and then I picked it up real good, and this is all that I got out of there. And I will just throw this stuff right here away. And but yeah, if you're even semi-careful with this, you can get all the nails up. And the guy that used to live here, he welded a lot, and I picked up a ton of welding rod, little pieces of welding rod, and that's probably what that stuff is right there. Is I think he used to run the cable into the house and plug it into the 220 for the dryer, and he would weld in the backyard until he built the shop, is what I think he used to do. I know he did it in the front yard because there's still rust out there. I can't get it off, even with my power washer. But yeah, I got it all cleaned up real nice, and it went from this 5 foot by 10 foot trailer just mounded full to 1 trash can and maybe 2 or 3 inches of that 55-gallon trash can. And this is all I kept. And the 4x4s, I will cut them up into pieces and use them for blocks to put underneath the tongue of my trailer. And then of course the sheet iron, and then that's the metal I'm going to keep over there for colors. More than anything, I'll probably just keep a little piece or 2 of it, and that way if I ever need to match color for some reason or other, I've got a scrap piece I can take to Sherwin-Williams and get a color match. And that right there is a great big old pear tree. And if I hadn't mowed, you can really see them. There's a ton of pear trees out here in this backyard where the deer and the coyotes come back here and eat them, just like this one right here. They carry them back here and they drop them. And that one right there hadn't even been chewed on yet, don't look like. But anyways, over the past 2 or 3 years, in this exact spot, I've been running over these pear trees and just mowing them down. Well, this year I threw me 4 logs around them. And I thought, I'm not going to spray around it or do anything like that. I'm just going to let these little fellers grow. And that is from this year. That's how old those are. That's from this spring. But usually there's just hundreds of them out here from the deer and the coyotes eating them. And like I said, I just mowed. This is Sunday and I mowed Thursday, so they're not really sprouted up. But by the time I get ready to mow again, they'll be all sprouted up all over the place out here. They just really are they just from those seeds, they come up, and I'm gonna let those grow and see what happens. But what the dad blame raccoons are doing, if you look, let me turn my camera right here where you can see, if you look up there real high, way up high, there's no pears. Now down here on the bottoms where they can't get to them very easily, way out here, there's some. And down here, there's some, because they can't get to them. But the stupid raccoons are yanking all my pears off of my tree, and putting them on the ground, and then I'm running over them with the lawnmower because they're not even close to ready. Normally this tree starts throwing off its pears around the week of Halloween. Right in there somewhere is usually about the time that they're ripe. And see, they're great old big pears. There's one right there. It's as big as one you'd see at the grocery store. But I bet there's not maybe 50 of them left up there, and usually there'll be 1,000. So I've got some stupid raccoon making himself at home up there. Well, you guys have a great day. I just thought I'd show you the end results of burning all that and cleaning the mess up. And